Hi everybody, this is Atanu and you are watching Life is Chess. The topic of today's video is chess combinations. What are chess combinations? How do we apply them in our day-to-day games? How do we master them? How did the concept of chess combinations evolve over the years? These are some of the questions I would try to answer in this video and the subsequent videos. Well, chess combinations are the most attractive moments of the game, and that is the reason why many chess enthusiasts or many fans watch chess games and play chess. Combinations are situations where two or more chess pieces they combine, and through a series of moves they achieve betterment of the position. If this sounds too complicated for you, then let us start to see some examples of chess combinations from the pages of history. The first example is from a manuscript which is more than 1000 years old. It was written by Khadim from Central Asia, and he finds a brilliant way to win with white pieces in a seemingly hopeless position. White to play moves knight to h5 check, opening the g file for the rook and also taking away the h5 square from escape. As you can see, black plays rook h5, which is the only move, and now rook g6 check, king g6, rook e6 checkmate. The king cannot escape through h5, f5 or even g5. So it was a simple example, but it was analyzed more than 1000 years ago. 600 years later, Greco, an Italian player who was one of the best players of the world in the first half of 17th century, analyzed this position in his manuscript. It is white to play and win in 3 moves. Those of who have seen the previous example carefully will find this solution very easy. Knight g5 check. The king cannot move. Rook g5 is the only move, after which rook f6 check, king f6, and once again the same mating pattern by rook d6 check. So the patterns keep on repeating. The Spanish player Luis Ramirez Lucena is best known for his contribution to rook and pawn endgames. But did you know that he was the first person to write a book on chess? The name is Art of Playing Chess, way back in 1497. In that book, he analyzed this position, which looks hopeless for white, but it is white to play. Well, to any modern chess player, this looks very elementary, but for the uninitiated, this is a position, at first sight it looks amazing. White to play, white has to checkmate black, otherwise he will lose. Check. The king has to move to h8. If it moves to f8, white can either checkmate by queen f7 or knight d7. So black moves king h8, and now white plays a brilliant series of moves. Knight f7 check, king has to come to g8, knight h6 double check, check with the queen as well as knight. Once again the king has to move to h8, and now the final beautiful move, that is queen to g8 check. We have to keep in mind that the queen is supported by the knight, so it cannot be recaptured with the king. The only way for black to escape checkmate is to capture the queen with the rook. That leaves the king totally smothered on h8, and white would simply play knight f7. A single knight defeats the whole army of black's pieces. This is called smothered. Once again, it was Greco who analyzed this position more than 100 years later, and he found out a win with black in this position, black to play. If you are familiar with the previous example, it's very easy to solve. Black will play knight f2 check, forcing white to play to king e1, then knight d3 check. Once again, king d1 is the only move, and now the most beautiful move once again is queen e1 check. White is left with no other move than to recapture with the knight, and now the final blow, knight f2 check. Very simple, but only if you knew the precedence. Our next example from the pages of history is from the year 1602. This position was analyzed by Salvio, another Italian master. It is white to play. There's little white can do from stopping the black queen from queening. Black is likely to push and queen in the next move. If white plays rook g1, the game is likely to end in a draw after black queens, and white exchanges the queen for a rook, and then both king rush to the theater of action on the king side. White captures both the pawns, but black manages to reach defensive point on time. It is the rook's pawn which is a draw. Had there been a knight's or any other pawn, white would still win this position. But let's see how the game continues. White plays a brilliant move to win, and that is rook to a1. The rook not only blockades the pawn, but it forces black king to be imprisoned. We call it attraction. The black king is attracted to one of the worst squares from where it cannot escape. Now the only legal move which black can play is g5, after which white captures, and once again the only move is h4. Both the players would queen at the same time, but it is white to play after queening, and white checkmates black by queen g7. The black king remains imprisoned till the last move. So it was a nice win based on the concept of bringing the king to a worst. A Portuguese chess master named Damiano, he wrote a book about chess in the year 1512, arguably the second oldest book in history of chess. And there he analyzes this position, white to play. White is a pawn up and is already in a better advantageous situation. However, he has an immediate win by playing a beautiful move, bishop to b5. If the queen takes on b5, the queen is attracted to a square to which it can be attacked by the knight, and the knight delivers a double attack on the king and queen. It is called fork. So this combination is once again a combination of two themes. One of them is attraction, another is double attack. So this is a very simple example. Thanks for watching. Happy Independence Day. Jai Hind.